Take a look at this bridge, ladies and gentlemen. Do you think Joseph Strauss, the man in charge of the team who built the Golden Gate Bridge, saw an ad that said, "Hey guys, if you buy my course, I'm going to show you how to build a structure that represents the strength of American ingenuity in just 90 days. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Go from zero bridge to full bridge within 90 days. No experience required. Buy my course. There's a webinar here. Sign up, give me your email, and sign up for my Calendly link so we can get on a call." No, of course not. No, that definitely did not happen. But now building a bridge and, building a social media marketing agency is not the same thing. But let me tell you something. SMMA is only a fast business if you're okay with your clients constantly dropping off, which means you constantly have to do outreach and sales calls all the time to make up for the loss in clients, since you're prioritizing your profit over the client's experience and the client's results. And on top of that, you have to worry about angry clients and you have to stress about refunds or potential chargebacks because you did not set proper expectations since you were prioritizing getting to 10K a month in your first month rather than actually providing them a good client experience. There are obvious outliers here, right? Most people who are outliers are usually people who already worked at an agency or maybe they had like a sales and marketing job before they started their own SMMA. But I'm talking to the majority here. Majority of people, they just start SMMA, they're complete newbies. They don't know anything, just like myself. Like I had no idea anything about marketing, had to research that, study it, take courses, all that kind of stuff. For those people who are complete newbies, just like I was, you have to have proper expectations for yourself. Unless, like I said with the whole spiel, you're okay with constantly doing outreach. But I don't like constantly doing outreach. Or almost just tripped. I prefer to get my clients, keep them long term, and that way I can just build off that rather than having to lose clients, deal with refunds, all that kind of stuff. So kind of like the story of the tortoise and the hare, or turtle and the bunny, however you learned it. The story basically goes, there's a turtle and there's a rabbit and they're both racing, and the turtle is slow and steady. He's very, he just goes through and finishes the race, whereas the bunny, who was underestimating the turtle, he took a nap for way too long and then all of a sudden the turtle was ahead of him. Now that I say it out loud, maybe it's not exactly like this story, but basically I prefer to go to this slow and steady route. I'm not teaching you how to get to 10K a month as fast as possible, because if you worry and if you focus on speed, then what you're gonna end up doing is you're just gonna have an unnecessary amount of stress. So instead, what I'm gonna be laying out is a realistic path to get from 0 to 10K a month with your SMMA or freelancing business in the most guaranteed, steady way possible. The plan I'm gonna be laying out here is a 12-month plan. It's kind of similar to what I followed once I actually started getting serious with my SMMA and not just being like a entrepreneur, but actually putting in the hours for it. If you wanna make progress faster than 12 months, then just take, instead of working, 3 hours a day, instead work 6 to 8 hours a day, okay? Just basically double your output. That way you should double the speed that you get past the learning curve. I just want to reiterate, guys, this is a realistic timeline for beginners, all right? This is not some gimmick, not some marketing scheme. You see people all the time saying like, hey, you can get to 10K a month in 30 days or 60 days or whatever. And you might be thinking like, all right, these guys are clearly lying, right? Well, actually, they might not be lying, and they're probably not lying, because it is possible to get to that point pretty fast. But kind of like what I was saying in the beginning of the video is, these people usually have years of experience before they get to 10K a month in 1 month. For example, if you have 2 years of an experience or 2 years of experience as a salesman for a company, then obviously you're gonna be very, very comfortable with sales, and you're gonna be very comfortable with how to attract clients. Same thing with the marketing agency. If you have already been working for a marketing agency, or even let's say you worked for a small business running their digital ads, right? It's gonna be way easier because you already kind of have a portfolio, you have proof of concept, you have confidence in your ability to get these clients results. So you already, and not only that, but you also know the industry. You're probably gonna be, let's say you were in the basketball hoop industry, I don't know. And now you're like, you know what, I'm gonna start my own agency running basketball hoop Facebook ads for other basketball manufacturers. My point is, you're going to be very comfortable and confident in how to do that. You'll already know the industry, you'll know the ins and outs, you'll know the language, how they operate, all that kind of stuff. So when you see all these people claim that they're able to have this overnight success, you have to keep in mind that these people have most likely been in the industry for years, but when they say I went from 0 to 10K in 1 month or 2 months or 3 months, what they're really talking about is starting that business after those years of experience. Keep that in mind. I don't want you guys to get discouraged. All right, it is windy, cold. I did not expect it to be this cold. Let me try and hide from the wind, try to make sure there's no squirrels that are gonna pop out of nowhere. Okay, so this brings me to my next point though. A lot of these people who quickly will get to 10K a month, kind of like I said in the beginning, they are going to get to 10K a month. They're going to brag about it online, and then a lot of them just don't make any videos after that because they lose all their clients and they're like, oh crap, I just got to keep getting more clients because I keep dropping them every single month, right? I don't want you guys to end up like that. That's really annoying. Not a good way to run your business. Not a good way, not good for your health either, like your mental health. Unless you're a complete sociopath and you don't care about like scamming people, which if you know your service is not up to par and you know for a fact that you cannot provide the clients what you are pitching them during the sales calls and during outreach, you're literally scamming people. Let's not do that, okay, guys? Personally, I cannot sell a product if I'm not 100% confident in my ability to really help those clients out. Now, when you're beginning, you're gonna have a little bit of the Dunning-Kruger effect where you think that it's possible, you think that it's easy, so you get clients and you sign them on, and then as you're servicing them, you're gonna be like, oh, this is really difficult. This is way more difficult than I thought. And that's a part of the process. It's all good, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't consider that scamming because you have good intentions. You just did not expect the problem to be that hard. As long as you're trying your best to learn from your mistakes and then give those clients good results. Also, if you're offering them a refund, if you pretty much just have not been able to get them the results in the beginning, or when you're in your beginning phases when you're starting the agency, that's something you can do as well. That's something that I had to do. A lot of people make this mistake where they'll get on a bunch of clients, but they don't have the systems in place to actually take care of the clients. So let's say, you sign on clients, you're at 10K a month with the agency, and now all of a sudden you have to do 80 hours a week of client work, okay? Like, bro, that's not sustainable. It's just not. So I prefer to kind of sacrifice my profit margin so that I am, let's say I bring on a client or bring on 2 clients, and then I kind of build the systems a little bit so that way it's as passive as can be. Not 100% passive though. If you're an agency owner, it's going to take you a while to get to that passive income mark because you're going to have to be in charge of quality control and all that kind of good stuff, unless you get really, really lucky off the bat with someone that can like pretty much, have that level of attention of detail and attention of care for your clients. But 99% of us are not going to have that luck. We have to train our own team, and that's just a part of the process. That's just the game. Get a couple of clients, you'll be overworked for a little bit, implement the systems, and then get another few clients. So it's like a stepping stone, you know what I'm saying? You just get a bunch of clients, so your profit margins shoot up, then all of a sudden your profit margins go down a little bit because now you have to hire people to help those clients, then your profit margins shoot up again once you're getting more clients, and then your profit margins stay down a little bit because you have to get more team members to take care of those clients. That's just how it is. It's going to be up and down, up and down, up and down, okay? So don't worry about it constantly going up and doubling your income every month or doubling your income every few months or whatever, because it's just gonna, oh my, bruh. You see the tree? Look at the tree. Look how windy it is right now, man. I gotta go on this side. I mean, I know it's windy, but it's usually not freezing cold and windy like this, especially in the middle of July. The wind is like wrapping around the tree, so I'm fucked either way. So what I'm about to say kind of goes against what a lot of people preach online, a lot of these gurus, but I'm gonna say it anyways. I really think that you should get good at your service delivery before scaling your business, which if you're not in the SMMA like content guru space, I guess, then you're gonna think, yeah, no shit, right? Obviously you should be good at what you do before you sell it. But the thing is, a lot of these gurus, what they'll say to people is, no, just keep selling, keep selling, keep selling. Eventually you'll get good at it as you keep selling and you get new clients, And look, everyone has their own philosophy. If that's the way you want to do business, go ahead. I just don't recommend it for all the reasons that I've been preaching this whole time, okay? So get good at what you want to do, and then the way you're going to do that is most likely you have to work for really, really cheap, or you're going to have to work for completely free, which is one thing that I did when I was starting the short form content agency. Or another thing you can do is get a job. That's probably the best thing you can do is get a job working for someone, so they'll train you, they'll teach you how to like do that service, work for them for 6 months. A lot of people are like, oh, but I need to get rich faster than that. Okay, bro, buy a fucking scratcher, buy a lottery ticket if you want to get rich faster than that, okay? Good luck. Look, I'm just saying this is a guaranteed way, slow and steady growth for you to get to 10K a month, okay? Get a job, you'll probably get paid a couple $1,000s a month to learn how to do this thing. And then after 6 months or so, let's say you've learned it, you're good, you're confident, you've got some portfolio, or you've got some case studies in your portfolio, then you can leverage all of that to actually get to 10K a month and start your business. And if you want to do it the other way, you're probably going to be stuck for like a year. So it's like, would you rather sacrifice 6 months so that you can guarantee a less stressful way to get to 10K a month, or are you going to worry about being stuck for like a year or 2 years, just scrambling all over the place because you can't get clients? You have to consistently get clients, they're asking for refunds. So this is me after trying both ways, being like, damn, looking back, everything is 2020. I should have just took the slow and steady route, like the guaranteed route. Let's get to the 12-month plan that I have set up, okay? Let me make it down the hill first though. Actually, before we get into it, I'm kind of thirsty again, but there's absolutely no way I'm spending $6 on a green tea again. Bruh, this was almost $6 for this iced tea. Definitely not happening. $6 is way too much. That was like such. I got my $6 green tea. Okay, so for me personally, it took me 6 months to get to that 10K a month mark after switching to a short form content / video editing agency. But keep in mind, I was already doing SMMA for a while, and I was just failing for a long time. So it took me a while to kind of, you know, not only that, but on top of that, my discipline was shit, right? One thing I'd like to talk about is like you have the hard skills and then you have the soft skills. Hard skills meaning the technical skills, like how do you actually edit a video? What buttons do you press? What do you do? And the soft skills are, okay, let me sit down on my desk and go to work for 8 hours straight. I really sucked at those soft skills, staying disciplined, keeping myself accountable for stuff. So that's also why it took me a while. If you are a disciplined person though, it's not gonna take you that long because you'll actually be able to manage your time properly and all that good stuff. Almost got a bug in my eye. Another thing was too that my profit margins really were trash in the beginning because I put myself into a lot of debt buying courses and doing a bunch of bullshit that I didn't really need to do. I was actually over hiring people too. I hired like way too many team members, but that is just, you know, name of the game, I guess. So the courses that I was buying that put me into debt and all this, I was spending thousands of dollars on courses because these people who were selling the courses marketed it as, if you buy the course, there's golden nuggets in there where you'll get to 10K a month guaranteed, you know, all this kind of stuff. And that's one reason why I'm so passionate about making this video and doing this, because there are so many like scummy and scammy gurus online who, it's almost like a wolf in sheep's clothing, I guess you can think of. Maybe that's being a little bit over dramatic, but you know, they pretend like they want to help you when really they just really care about their bank account at the end of the day. And there are a lot of good people too, don't get me wrong. A lot of the courses I bought were good, but a lot of them were really bad too. So you really got to be careful who you're trusting out here. Wow, I felt the breeze as the dog ran by me. I sound like a broken record here, but the most important aspect to growing a successful SMMA steadily, and honestly anything, accomplishing any goal, is to have self-discipline, right? You have to have self-discipline to do super boring work for a long period of time without getting results, because even if you don't get results, what you're doing is you're gaining experience and you're learning what ways not to approach the problem. It's just getting you closer. Even though it doesn't feel like it monetarily, like financially, it may not feel like you're getting closer to your goal, you are getting closer to your goal if you just stick to it. So that was my biggest problem, man, is self-discipline, sticking with the process. Boring work is so boring, right? I mean, that's why it's called boring work, but it has to be done. If you set the goal for doing 25 outreach per day, you need to make sure every day you're doing 25 outreach, and you set up the time. If there's distractions that come up, someone says, hey, you want to hang out? Hey, this is happening today. This is happening, that happening. You gotta have the discipline to be like, no, I can't do that because I am trying to do this right now. Not saying you don't have to have a life, but you got to be strict with your schedule. And that's one thing also from working from home or kind of starting a business, is like you have a lot of freedom. There's no boss that tells you like, hey, if you don't come into work today, you're going to get fired, you're going to lose your job. So you have to be your own boss. And sounds like a hashtag, right? Be your own boss. No, but you really do have to be your own boss and tell yourself like, all right, from this hour to this hour, I am at the office, which means if someone needs something, I'm at work, I can't help you, right? Someone needs a ride from the airport, dude, I can't give you a ride to an airport. That's why we have Uber. Go get an Uber. I'm at work right now. Now here's the thing though, you don't have to worry. All these tasks that I'm listing out, all the boring stuff, eventually you can hire team members to do it, because what you find boring, someone else might not find boring. For example, if you find lead sourcing tedious and monotonous and you just can't get yourself to do it because of how repetitive it is, you might find it super, super boring. But there might be someone out there, and there are for a fact people out there who all they do is lead sourcing. That's their job. That they enjoy doing it because they actually like the steady, predictable nature of that task. So you have to keep in mind that you're not gonna be doing this stuff forever. It's a season. You just have to kind of push through it for now, and then once you have the income and the stable, hey buddy, once you actually have some revenue coming in with the business, then you can hire a VA to do these tasks for you. So keep that in mind. Don't be discouraged. It's gonna be super boring. It's gonna suck for a while, guys, but it does get better, I promise. And also, here's another thing, all right? If you're watching this video and you're like, damn, man, I don't know, bro. I thought this was gonna be easy, so maybe I should start another business. Maybe I should do day trading. Maybe I should do crypto instead, because maybe that's easier. Everyone else is saying it's easy. Bro, nothing is easy, okay? You guys have heard this shit before too, all right? This is nothing new I'm saying. If you don't wanna be normal, right? Meaning like you don't wanna go through the traditional path of getting a job and just working your career. If instead you wanna do anything else, crypto, day trading, SMA, whatever it is, because you have to do stuff that's not normal, which means there's a lot of sacrifices and stuff that you have to make. You have to work hard and kind of recognize that. So if you're not up for it, then just follow a normal path, quote unquote, which is nothing wrong with it. It's just, you know, I'm just trying to let you guys know that you got to understand the difference. Now, for my people out there who are not disciplined, who struggle with discipline just like myself, here are a few things, few bullet points that I wrote down here so that you can become more disciplined. All right, you got to make these life changes. At least that's what I would recommend doing, okay? First of all, don't do drugs, don't smoke weed, don't drink alcohol. This is gonna mess up your sense of dopamine and your sense of like accomplishments and all that kind of stuff. So if you can put that stuff to the side, definitely do it. Another thing is do not use your phone and go on social media right when you wake up. It's the same thing as like the drugs, right? It's like right when you wake up, you're blasting your brain with dopamine, and then now all of a sudden you have this elevated level of dopamine, whereas the tasks that, you know, for example, doing outreach, it's not gonna give you that same dopamine. It's like, gonna give you like this much dopamine, but if you're already here, then it's gonna feel super boring. Whereas if you just wake up and your dopamine is naturally right here, and then you're doing the outreach, you feel accomplished, then, you know, it's you perceive it as a more fun activity. Probably not scientifically backed, but that's anecdotally, that's how it's felt for me, and for a lot of people who believe in like the dopamine detox and that kind of do that kind of stuff. Another thing is do not eat a heavy meal until the afternoon. All right, if you're just waking up and eating really sugary cereals, donuts, cupcakes, muffins, I don't know. If you're having a really giant peanut butter jelly sandwich, you know, if you're having all that kind of stuff, or even if your lunch is super, super heavy, you're eating like pasta with carbonara sauce and all this kind of stuff, it's gonna mess up your energy levels. You wanna try and put those heavy meals until the afternoon once you're done with your work, because otherwise you're just getting really sleepy while you're working throughout the day, and you know, that's not helpful at all. And then speaking about food, don't eat junk food, okay? So these foods are really unnatural typically, and they're really high in sugar or sodium, which is gonna mess up your energy levels, just like kind of how I said before. If you're already a disciplined individual and you can, you know, smoke and drink and eat junk food and wake up whenever you want and you can still do your tasks, then live your life, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm just speaking to the people who are struggling with their discipline, who were kind of in my shoes before. These are the kind of changes you have to make, because you may not even realize and you may not even understand yet. But like me, I didn't understand that these things were actually affecting me. These small, what I considered were small lifestyle changes, really do add up. Let's say you're trying your best to stay disciplined. You do all these things like, all right, I'm not gonna eat junk food anymore. I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna do that. Instead, I'm gonna get to work. I'm gonna stay focused on my goals, blah, blah, blah. But then you see yourself, you continuously relapse, right? Maybe you can go a week or 2 weeks following your goals, and then all of a sudden the next month, you just completely relapse. You're eating junk food and all that kind of stuff. If you continuously do that and you can't get yourself, first of all, you know, try to make the small changes and actually track it. Keep a notepad with the dates and be like, all right, from this date to this date, I'm gonna quit this one thing, and then from, you know, this date to that date, I'm gonna quit this other thing, and that slowly you can kind of stack and build those habits that way. But if you still are struggling to do that, then you're gonna wanna see a medical professional, see what is wrong with you, all right? There could be something wrong with you. Maybe you have some sort of like undiagnosed disorder, you know, maybe you have, a lot of people in like the online guru space, or maybe I'm just watching too much of this content, but a lot of people, they'll say like, hey, you don't need to worry about mental health. You just join my program and then I'll teach you how to overcome all this stuff, right? That's some bullshit, dude. Maybe it works for some people, but I think it's kind of ridiculous to be like, don't trust medical professionals, because these guys have literally spent like a decade of their life just learning these problems and how to solve them. So yeah, give them a go. Not saying you have to like completely lean into it 100% and put yourself in a psych ward. I'm just saying you might want to talk to someone who has experience in this, a medical professional, and then actually start figuring out like, hey, maybe I'm like nutrient deficient in something. That's why I feel tired all the time. That's why I don't have the energy to do these boring tasks. Maybe you have some sort of mental disorder that you had no idea you had, and then you just need a little prescription that will help offset the chemicals, or not offset, but help balance the chemicals in your brain so that you can work more quote unquote normal, right? It's your life, you choose what to do, but I'm just saying, if you're trying your best and you absolutely cannot become a disciplined individual, these are the steps that you should probably take. So one of the reasons a lot of people struggle with following any sort of success plans, like let's say someone makes a video saying, hey, follow these steps and you'll be successful, is because they may not know their strengths and weaknesses. Some people might feel really comfortable doing cold calls, getting on phone calls and just talking. Other people, maybe they're keyboard warriors and they can just type away and write a bunch of emails or a bunch of DMs, right? So you gotta kind of keep that in mind when you're thinking of what success plan should I follow and what exactly are the steps that I should take. So here are the most popular ways of getting an SMMA client, okay? So you got cold calls, you got cold emails, freelance websites, personal branding and social media DMs, and posting content, and posting case studies in online groups like Facebook groups, maybe Reddit. I haven't tried Reddit, but I know Facebook groups can work. Now with this in mind though, you want to choose one method that you feel the most comfortable with, because that way you can focus all your time on optimizing for that one method. That way you're not spread out, because if you're spread out, if you're trying a bunch of different things at once, then you're never going to really get good at one of them. You're just going to think like, oh, this doesn't work, let me move on to the next thing. Oh man, I tried 10 of those, that doesn't work, let me try the next thing. So you really got to focus on one thing and go all in. So here's how the 12-month plan is broken down into. Phase 1 is months 1 through 5. So that's how you're figuring out how to get clients consistently, by spending most of your time on outreach. And do not forget, you have to track your metrics. Super, super important. If you're not tracking your metrics, then your mind will lie to itself. You'll feel like you're working all day, but then you'll go into your metrics and then you'll see, oh damn, I really didn't do as much work as I thought I did. And then also another thing is, you'll be like, okay, I think this email or this DM is working really well because recently 2 people have responded positively to it, right? Whereas maybe if you're keeping the metrics, you'll see that, okay, those 2 people were just a fluke, and then the other DM that you set up was the one that was actually performing really, really well. So that's, metrics are really important. You got to keep that in mind. So some metrics you want to keep in mind and you want to track are how many outreaches you did, how many people positively responded to it, how many people are you getting on a meeting, how many people are how many people are you booking for a meeting, how many people are actually showing up for a meeting, and then how many people are turning into clients from those meetings. That way it's like a funnel and you can see step by step by step, where are you messing up, and then you can go reverse engineer to be like, all right, I'm doing a really good job once I have the people on the meeting, but the problem is people are not even hopping on my meeting. So I need to either change the language or I need to do something, give them an incentive to get on the meeting. So this is also the phase where you want to be building your portfolio and your confidence in the service delivery by working for really cheap or working for free. Now you could hire someone to kind of do the work for you here, but it's not easy to just hire a VA off of Fiverr or Upwork or Facebook group or wherever, and then find someone who's competent and trustworthy and reliable to do your client work for you, okay? If it was really that easy, a lot of people, like a lot more people, would be succeeding with SMMA. The reason why a lot of people kind of give up, and this is why also SMMA is never saturated, guys, because people always give up and they always quit. So as long as you're able to figure things out and you believe that your ability to kind of push through and solve these problems is better than the majority of people, then you're going to succeed with this business. That's what I had to go through myself. But either way, so what I was saying was, you could hire someone, but there's a really high chance that you're going to hire someone that really just sucks, is unreliable. And that's why they're even in the job market to begin with, because most people who are in the job market, I mean, they're there for a reason, right? Because a lot of people who are talented, they get scooped up and they get their plate full and they can't really accept any more work really fast. So you have to be really worry about it. And also, if you don't know how to do the service delivery yourself, you're not going to be able to manage your team. You're not going to be able to train them. So that's something you really need to learn. Okay, so after the first 2 to 3 months in phase 1, where you're kind of building your portfolio, you're stacking up all this, oh my God, dude. After those first 2 to 3 months, those initial 2 to 3 months, the next 2 to 3 months, you want to be raising your prices. So before, you were sacrificing your income so that you can gain experience. And now that you have the experience in your portfolio, you can finally start increasing your pricing so that you're making like some sort of profit and you're really getting towards the direction of making money with your business. So you want to treat the first 5 months like a case study and experience kind of, or I guess a case study and client acquisition phase. All right. That's when you're just focusing on how do I get clients and how do I build my portfolio and just stacking up your portfolio. So that way you can increase your prices and move on to phase 2. So phase 2 is when you're beginning to, I wrote all this stuff down. There's a lot of stuff here, guys. I got to write this down. So phase 2, that's when you begin outsourcing your service delivery and you start hiring and building a team, okay? Because now you got some profit coming in, you got proof of concept, everything. So now that you have the client acquisition funnel out the way, what you want to worry about in phase 2 is a talent acquisition funnel, because finding talent, in my opinion, is way harder than finding a client. Ern, what do you think?
Definitely, that's 100% true, 1000%.
Yep. So what you need to do is have a steady funnel. It just has to be like an SOPs, like a system that you have. And I guess you don't really necessarily have to write this down. As long as you know it, then you're good. Basically, just like, okay, oh my God, the fucking wind, dude. Oh. You're gonna need to expect to be messaging and interviewing a lot of people. A lot of people are gonna be lying to you. A lot of people are gonna exaggerate their portfolios, exaggerate their results. So what you wanna do is, and a mistake that I made when I was first hiring, is I would just get on Zoom interviews and waste like an hour for every single person that I was interviewing. So I was just wasting hours and hours and hours of my day just interviewing people who then after the interview or during the interview, I'd realize, damn, this person does not qualify because of X, Y, and Z. So now the process that I do is, what I do is, first of all, I set up like you know, some sort of, you need to have the top of the funnel. So maybe that's like freelance platform that you're posting a job on, or Facebook or Reddit or wherever you want to do it. And then after that, what you want to do is you want to have a list of a bunch of pre-qualifying questions, right? Now these pre-qualifying questions should be something that it's like, all right, these are the basics pretty much, okay? Like how many years have you been doing this? What industries have you worked in? Do you have fast and reliable internet? Stuff like that, super basic stuff. Once the basic stuff is done, you wanna ask them a more open-ended question, I guess, more complex question that's directly related to what you need them to help you with, okay? Once that's done, then you can take your top candidates and get on an interview with them, get to know them, make sure they're normal, make sure they're cool, I guess, make sure they fit like your company culture. They don't have to be the exact same as you. You don't want just a company filled with like the same exact person. I think it's pretty important to have like a diverse thinking, so that way you can make better decisions. You can get input from people who have like different ideas and whatnot. And here's one thing to realize too, okay? You could have two people that have the exact same capability and skill sets and expertise in their craft, but maybe one person is 50% cheaper than another person. And that could just be because of the living situation of the country that they stay in, okay? You wanna make sure that you're getting the best value for salary kind of ratio, right? And that's what makes and breaks a lot of companies. So yeah, hiring is kind of tough, guys, but it's a necessary part of business. And eventually, like anything else, just set up the systems for it and it'll be kind of automated once you get big enough. It's just the beginning. You kind of have to just really push through and get that done. But here's one thing to keep in mind as well is if you're good at the service delivery aspect of things, then you can create your own SOPs. And that way, if someone is, maybe they're super reliable, but they just don't have the skill set that you need them to have, then if you have the SOPs, you can pretty much create like a training document or even a mini course. So you can have like internal training courses. That way, whenever you have someone new to bring on the team, you just have them run through the course and they can learn exactly how you're taking care of your clients. And that way you're not having to like one-on-one train them all day. A few more things to keep in mind here is if you're hiring someone that has less experience, just expect to do a lot more quality control. So it's a balance, right? So you might have someone who's like really, really affordable, except maybe their quality control and their attention to detail really is trash. So that person you're gonna have to really do heavy quality control over. And then once you kind of hire a few people, you'll start to understand like what the market kind of is offering right now and what kind of people are out there looking for jobs. That way you'll be able to pick and choose like, all right, I'm gonna keep like the best of the best. That's what I had to do. You know, you just hire a bunch of people, you figure out all these people are unreliable, their quality control is all over the place. So instead, let me shave them off of the team. You know, obviously you wanna do it amicably, you wanna just let them know the reasons why and all that kind of stuff. You want to be a good person. But if they don't belong on your team, they don't belong on your team. Another thing is when you do hire someone, you don't have to hire them full-time immediately. Hire them part-time, get them working on a couple projects. Once you see that they're actually good at what they do, they're reliable and they fit, then you can kind of increase their hours. Last but not least, guys, phase 3. This is the months 9 through 12. This is where things get fun, okay? So you've sacrificed this whole time building, optimizing. And look, the optimizing and building never really stops, but at least you got the really difficult learning curve out of the way, okay? So by this point, what you want to do is increase your prices because now you have a good team, good team members, you have proof of concept, you have a good case study, you have a good client acquisition system, you have a good talent acquisition system. And it may not be the best systems, but they're decent enough where you're not having to, you know, figure it out all over again every single time you want to hire someone or get a new client, okay? So now this phase is when you just increase your pricing. And increasing your pricing really depends on how good of a service you're delivering. We were able to increase our prices like pretty high because I slowly built the team and slowly built our services so that the quality was just phenomenal. The quality control was really good. That way the clients don't have to stress about anything. And one thing is I've actually had to fire all the clients that I no longer work with because I say fire, that sounds dramatic, but I've had to like tell them, hey, sorry, I can no longer, running out of breath. Pretty much had to tell them like, damn, I need a sponsorship. I've been holding this cup this whole time, man. I should get a sponsor from them. And I know they have the profit margins for a sponsor because it's $6 for this tiny cup of water and leaves. There goes $1 right there. That's $1 a sip. Last phase, increase your prices. Now you have a team. Look, do not expect your team to just do everything for you though. You still have to continually coach your team and keep them accountable for everything until you can hire someone to have that position of keeping your team accountable. But that's like way in the future. You're not going to be able to do that at only $10K a month. Sorry to break your bubble, bust your bubble. It's not going to happen. Anyways, this video has been all over the place. Join Agency Go if you need help with any of these things. Free Discord. I'm not going to try and sell you anything. Go ahead. We have a course actually in the Discord. So it's a free course. It's going to show you how I got to 0 to 10K and how you can do it as well. These are all principles that can be applied to any sort of agency. I had like a video agency, we still do have a video editing agency / social media management agency. So these principles you can apply to anything, okay? Go ahead, DM me on Instagram if you want access to it. Not gonna try and sell you anything, and we'll see you in the next video.